Tale from the start.
Every story appears ordinary till you see the core side of it.
And what you're looking for is a story behind the news.
We bring it to you from Lagos, the commercial capital of Nigeria.
Giving you all sides and political stories round the clock.
Every detail from the start line to the final whistle.
CoreTV News, expanding your view.
Hello and welcome to CoreTV Primetime News. I am Frank Omalape. Our top stories tonight. Thank you for joining us. Now we begin tonight in the Lagos commercial city, where at least 6 persons have been reported dead in a communal clash at the Agility-Mile-12 area in Lagos State. According to reports, the clash started Tuesday when a motorcycle rider allegedly hit a child while violating traffic rules. Normalcy has, however, been restored to the area. A correspondent who has been monitoring reports.
Everything has gone, everything, no. Everything, no.
Shocked, bewildered and perplexed, with an unquantifiable sense of loss.
1.something million goods is inside this shop.
The popular busy Mile-12 market, a beehive of buying and selling, experienced loss of lives and property, as the market witnessed a mindless clash that resulted in the death of at least 6 persons, with several others injured and millions of properties destroyed.
Everything has got to please, please,
Sorry, madam, has this ever happened in this street?
No, this is the first time, Hey, please.
Last week, an accident happened in our shop.
My shop.
That same shop.
The same shop, this is my house again.
Just carry fire, they come. With petrol, they burn everywhere. They don't burn our house to finish yours. See us, all our clothes, all our everything.
They said that from Agility, then they fight this fight.
Some other residents of the Agility and Maidan area in Mile-12, while counting their losses, wants the government to relocate the Mile-12 market from their community.
Nothing they did to prevent all this nonsense.
See what happened? They point to all this place.
They should remove the marketplace here. They should remove all the market from my
Desolate. The popular Mile-12 market and its surrounding communities never failed to be in the news for the wrong reasons, instead of what it is known for, trading of commodities brought in from all over the country. But alas, the wreck of almost everything in sight is quite alarming.
You don't see us like they burn all that. You go see us now. You don't see.
Only time will help heal the aggrieved and those lost properties worth billions of naira. Sarah Ayuku, CoreTV News, Lagos.
While residents of Mile-12 in Lagos have commended security operatives for responding quickly to quell the violence that erupted Thursday morning, our correspondent Akion Bakaye was there and now reports.
A chaotic scenario that enveloped the Mile-12 environs, leading to loss of lives and destruction of properties. How did the security personnel handle the clash, which claimed over 5 lives and destroyed properties worth billions of naira?
They just keep doing it over and over again, which we just need the federal government to find a stop to.
With the destruction of properties, the Lagos State Fire Service came hours after calm had been restored temporarily in the area. It is expected that the security officers will ensure calm and restore peace to the society.
All right, let's now join, of course, coverage of the market. Just before we go to the next story, we're being joined live now by security and safety practitioner Are Olade Ario. Thank you for joining us on our Primetime News tonight. Now, let's take a look at this now and take a look at this. Is not the first time this is happening. What do you make of these, looking at the fact that we have a history of such incidents?
You see, I really felt very bad. When I heard it, I was in Maryland, and I told my driver to quickly go towards that place. And what I saw pained me. Over 30 years ago, I was a youth corper in a street community where I didn't know nobody here in Nigeria. And I met a lovely northerner, Saraju, and we were in love. We wanted to marry. But what happened? She went home for Christmas, okay, and then the family said, no way, you won't be marrying a southerner and of course a Christian for that matter. This was over 30 years ago. To think that in 2016, you will still be battling inter-ethnic and communal clashes is a shame. Okay, now the last elections worsened matters. Nigeria was divided very badly along ethnic and religious lines. And I felt that by now we should be moving away, and very clearly and very quickly too, from that, and think of building a united nation. Or how do we say? The story I gathered was just what you reported earlier, you know, when the news began. And I wondered why. 1,000,001 whys, and nobody could give me an answer. I'm very sad.
Well, looking at because the story, well, what we understand from what happened is the fact that there was a vehicle, an Okada rider
that hit somebody, and then I understand the Okada rider was an Hausa man.
Okay.
And then the child was Yoruba.
Okay.
And then, you know, it started from there. But when you look at the volume of mayhem that followed, you begin to wonder why. At the end of the day, 6 people lost their lives. Several houses have been burnt. Several shops have been destroyed. Let me not say billions now. Millions of money, of naira, has been lost. People lost their means of livelihood. Those who were friends and neighbors before, they suddenly became enemies.
Well, given the fact that this is not the first time this is happening, what can you say, or what do you think can be done to bring an end to incidents like this?
It's still part of what we call the social political disconnection between the government and the governed. Believe it or not, accept it or not, the average Nigerian today, the man on the street, is tense because he's a lot more impoverished than he was a year ago, right? So there is tension. Apart from that, I have always been advocating enhanced public enlightenment and continuous education, telling people that we are one, reminding them that nobody gains from all of these things. Now, when they went burning shops and houses, it didn't matter to them whether the house belonged to a Jukun, a TV, an Idoma, or an Igala man. Okay? I saw that woman screaming that she had goods worth over 12 naira in her shop. It's been burnt now. Where will she go? So, very likely, we are still not a nation. We are still not a country. We are still not united. I will still advocate for public enlightenment, reminding people that nobody gains from mayhem like this, and that when there is no peace, there can never be growth, there can never be development. That's my position.
Okay, let's look at the implication of these. What really is the implication of these economically?
Look, we may not have the facts and figures, specific ones now, telling us how much was lost. But you could see houses, you could see buses, and you could see there was a body. It was tied, hands and legs, and then it was set ablaze. It must have it must have had some capabilities and competencies. That is lost. And for all the shops that had goods, some had their savings in the shops, they've been raised down to nothing. We are saying that the economy is static. We are saying people are impoverished, And now these needless and mindless loss of lives and of huge resources are not helping ourselves. The earlier we begin to speak to ourselves and very sincerely admit it, that look, nobody benefits from this, the better. It's a shame. I'm extremely sad.
Well, to do so I know that a lot of people have been affected by these. So how do we pick up the pieces and look ahead beyond what has just happened now?
It's going to be very tough, and I'll tell you why. We are in a situation where our economy is crippled, static, in a state of serious inertia. Nothing is rolling, nothing is moving, arising from the fall in the price of crude oil at the world market. I was reading in the papers yesterday that we have oil worth over 50 billion naira waiting to be purchased. Okay? Now, is this the same government now that has no resource to run effective administration, that you now say, okay, begin to give people money, and how do you evaluate my loss to know what to give me? Do you understand me? How do you know, or how do you quantify my loss? It's extremely unhelpful. Are we not going to say that the federal government should pay for this, or the state or the government councils will pay for all of these things? And yeah, you can bring, even if they say they are paying, but it will not gel, it will not follow. So the earlier all of us talk to ourselves and we know that, oh, we are one, and we appreciate those things that bind us together as against the dividing lines, the better for us. And I still believe that a lot of people don't know all of these things. That's why I keep talking about increased and sustained public enlightenment. Tell the people, let them hear it on radio, on TV, on the street. Even when they pick newspapers, give them handbills, print posters, do banners. Tell them we are one, and that if we are divided, we will fall. But if we stand together, we will stand. That's the way to go.
Okay, just before I allow you to go, how impossible it is for us as a people to avoid such clash?
It's not impossible. You see, there is this unnecessary and needless inherent hatred, intertribal hatred in people. Unfortunately, the politicians who engineer these things, who drum these things into the heads of people, they are never there when these things happen. What happened today was not pre-planned. I can tell you that. It was not pre-planned. 10 minutes before it happened, nobody expected it. But spontaneously, people went crazy and killing people, damaging all that. It's unfortunate. Okay? So the way to go is for us to continue to re-emphasize and emphasize, okay, that violence does not pay. Yes, we will not know how many Hausas got killed, or Igbo, or Yoruba, or wherever. Where does that leave us? People just carry their dead and go and bury them. Some are not even identifiable. They've been burnt beyond recognitions. And you see houses where some people are managing. I saw one house where about 40 people are living. Let me just say, barely existing. Look at these places now. Burnt down. Where do they go? All the vehicles are counted about 34. It's unfortunate. And I'll tell you what, because of the nature of the locality, all those vehicles would have been insured, the houses would have been insured. So they have nowhere to go. They are out there, dry and in the cold.
Well, safety and security practitioner, Are Olade Indiario, thank you for joining us on CoreTV Primetime News tonight.
Well, my condolences to all those who suffered losses in whatever measure, and I pray that it won't be their portion again.
Thank you very much for coming. Well, let's move away from there now. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode has ordered the temporary closure of the Mile 12 markets following a dispute which erupted within the communities in Ketu Mile 12 area of the state. The governor also announced the restriction of movement on 4th Street in the area, including Oniyanere Street, Maidan Street, Ageleti 1 and Ageleti 2 Street. Addressing a government house correspondent at the Lagos House, Alausa, Governor Ambode says the decision to shut the market and restrict movement on the street is to raise security agencies to restore calm in the area. The governor says the police and security operatives have been deployed to the area to quell the dispute, assuring residents that peace will be restored in the area. The governor says he had received a report from the Commissioner of Police and other security agencies on ground at the scene, saying that the situation has been substantially put under control. He also used the opportunity to reiterate that Lagos State will continue to be home to every Nigerian irrespective of their tribe or ethnic affiliation, urging residents to continue to be law-abiding. And now still on communal clashes is still taking a toll in the lives of many communities in Nigeria. Taraba State has become the latest in the series of states to suffer losses from hostilities. Our Taraba State correspondent Udwa Godwin reports that this latest clash has claimed the lives of 2 persons and hospitalizing others.
Over 100 houses are razed with 2 lives lost and 3 hospitalized in the clash between the Jole and Shomo ethnic groups in the Lao local government area. This latest clash is occurring over the ownership of a fish pond located between the 2 communities. This, however, is not the first time they are having arguments, resulting in a clash. Since 1991, a court decision asked that the 2 settlements use the pond amicably pending the determination of the ownership. The clash is throwing many inhabitants out with nowhere else to turn, and the area now looking like a ghost town.
I want government to investigate between Jole community and Shomo community who owns this fish pond.
There should be a police outpost in this crisis area, because as it is now, there's none. So no one is allowed to go into that pond until if the local government gives permission to.
Police is swinging into action and ensuring peace returns to the warring communities.
And so, as I'm talking to you now, the police has taken over the place to make sure that such an incident does not repeat itself again. Not only that, presently investigation is ongoing.
Communal crises are a sad reminder of how deep-seated hatred, intolerance, irrationality, and a mindset for destruction ruling in the affairs of men is destroy the mutual coexistence. Udwa Godwin, CoreTV News, Jalingo.
And now the annual meeting of the Police Community Relations Committee has taken off, with the national chairman of the committee, Farouk Umeyama, charging the police to do more in tackling crimes, especially after midnight. The chairman, who also commended efforts by the force headquarters in stemming the tide of crime, says these efforts will be given added impetus by ensuring that policemen are always on the road, especially after midnight. Our correspondent Kazim Kasali has more in this report. We'll bring you 4 reports of that story. It's a situation that just won't seem to go away. The issue of Fulani herdsmen killing, maiming, destroying farms and sacking communities, extending further even down to the eastern part of the Federation, is still in the front burner. This attack is again catching the attention of the highest law-making body in Nigeria, which is urging government to ensure that the grazing of their cattle does not infringe on the rights of the farming communities. With proceeding from plenary, here's Jamila Figua's report. Away from there now, in continuation of efforts by the 8th Assembly to revamp the nation's ailing economy and push the change mantra of the Muhammadu Buhari's administration, members of the lower legislative chamber are frowning at the abandonment of one of the nation's most prized assets, the Nigerian Defense Industry Corporation. They are of the opinion that lack of proper maintenance of the industry is responsible for the difficulty the nation faces in procuring arms from other countries. Correspondent Emmanuel Ehejini was at the plenary today. His report is presented from our studios. Well, that report's coming your way shortly after now. After the break, the former Minister of Interior, Abba Moro, granted bail on self-recognition. Join us for details after this timeout.
Mommy more, where would I be without you? Now you be my best friend, now you be my sister, now you be my mentor, and you are still my mama.
Show your sweet and caring mother how much she means to you. Celebrate her with the special Peak Packs. Peak, it's in you.
Are you aware that the death percentage attributed to Lassa fever cases is currently put at 43.2%, a figure considered very high? Lassa fever, an acute viral illness characterized by high fever, muscle aches, mouth ulcers and bleeding in the skin, is harbored by rats and spread to humans via the urine and droppings of rats. To prevent Lassa fever, avoid any exposure with rodents, rats, as well as food and objects contaminated with rat secretions and excretions. Report all suspected cases of Lassa fever immediately to the nearest healthcare institution. Help prevent Lassa fever. This message is from the Federal Government of Nigeria.
Well, if you just joined us, it's CoreTV Primetime News broadcasting live from our Lagos studios. A look again at our major story. And now all our top stories can be found on our social media platforms, facebook.com/CoreTV News. You can also follow at CoreTV News NG. For other programs now, log on to www.youtube.com/CoreTV, leave a space, the news. And now the former Minister of Interior, Abba Moro, who is standing trial along with others for money laundering charges, can now have a sigh of relief as the Federal High Court in Abuja on Thursday granted him bail on self-recognition. Justice Nwuli Chikere, while delivering ruling on the bail application, asked the second and third defendants to provide 100 million naira with one surety each in like sum. The second and third defendant in the suit, former permanent secretary in the Ministry of Interior, Anastasia Daniel Nwobia, and a director in the ministry, Festus Alaye Bami. Judiciary correspondent Basil Okafor has more in this report.
Abba Moro and his co-accused persons appeared in court again on Thursday to hear the ruling on their bail application. The application is, however, granted, but while the court gives Moro bail on self-recognition, that was not the case with Daniel Nwobia and Alaye Bami, as they are expected to provide 100 million naira each with one surety in like sum. Justice Chikere rules that the sureties must not be below the rank of directors in any federal government establishment and must have landed property in Abuja. The second and third defendants are also asked to deposit their international passport to the court as part of the bail condition.
The Honorable Court allowed the first defendant, Comrade Abba Moro, to go on bail on self-recognizance on the fact that the senior citizen of this country.
Moro is granted bail on self-recognition on the basis that he was a former minister and has no criminal record. Justice Chikere also rules that the Administration of Criminal Justice Act 2015 guarantees the accused person's rights for bail, and that prosecution failed to prove that they will evade justice if granted bail. The matter has been adjourned till April 27 for trial. The accused persons have been prosecuted by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on an 11-count charge bordering on alleged scam in the recruitment into Nigerian Immigration Service in 2014.
And our former National Security Advisor, Sambo Desuki, who is facing charges of illegal possession of firearms and money laundering before a federal high court in Abuja, is asking the courts to stop the trial and discharge him from the charges. Desuki, through his counsel Joseph Daudu, is insisting that the rearrest by the Department of State Service after a court granted him bail is preventing him from defending himself. but prosecution counsel Oladipo Opesheyi is denying that federal government committed contempt of court through the rearrest as alleged by Dasuki. Our correspondent Basilo Kafo has the update.
He is in court again to answer charges preferred against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission. But this time, he is asking the court to discharge and acquit him of the charges because he has not been allowed to enforce his fundamental rights to liberty. His counsel further argues that the detention of his client by DSS violates his right as enshrined in Section 36, Subsection 35 of 1999 Constitution. Counsel to EFCC, Oladapo Opesheyi, however, opposed this submission, arguing that the EFCC that detained Dasuki is a different entity and that is not a party to the suit.
There was an application that was argued today. The application was basically to discharge the accused persons, and we are vehemently opposed to it. Well, the court has a final say.
The real or the main issue in this application, it is that the state should not have an opportunity to prosecute while at the same time being in disobedience of those orders.
Dasuki won bail by the court on November 3, 2015, but he was rearrested by the Department of State Services after days of siege on his residence at Asokoro, Abuja. After two separate high courts of the FCT granted him bail in December 2015 on alleged diversion of $2.1 billion armed fund, he was rearrested at Kuje prison after fulfilling the bail conditions. Justice Adeniyi Ademola has adjourned the case to April 4th for ruling on whether to stop the trial and discharge the accused person.
In the meantime, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja has deferred the arraignment of the former Chief of Defense Staff, Air Chief Marshal Alex Bade, which was accused of diverting over 3.9 billion naira from accounts of the Nigerian Air Force to March 7th. The court had earlier fixed Thursday for Bade to render his plea to the 10-count criminal charge the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission preferred against him. However, the case could not proceed as scheduled owing to the absence of the trial judge, Justice Abanokun, who was said to have traveled out of jurisdiction. Well, the case between the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, and Ricky Tafa, a senior advocate of Nigeria at the Federal High Court in Lagos, has been adjourned to March 15. Ricky Tafa is standing trial for a 2-count charge of obstruction of justice and bribery. Our correspondent Akion Bake brings us more.
In addition to the charge of obstructing justice by resisting the arrest of his clients, Nawi Suru and Nazir Odesi, for 5 hours after a court ruled so in February, Ricky Tafa, a senior advocate of Nigeria, grapples with the offense of bribing Honorable Justice Mohammed Yunusa with 225,000 naira. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, had dragged Tafa before Justice Mohammed Idris of the Federal High Court, Ikoyi, on Thursday.
The judge is performing his duty. Having listened to arguments from the parties, he has reserved judgment. And I'm sure you know the implication of that.
After a substantive application had been submitted by Ricky Tafa, the accused, and an affidavit stating that the sum in mention is for another purpose, his counsel holds a contrary view.
I've been able to show that this account actually belonged to somebody else. That person has sworn to affidavit. That affidavit has been admitted by the court despite opposition.
Yet another EFCC case, but this time around with Ricky Tafa, who is on a 2-count charge of obstruction of justice and bribery of Honorable Justice Yunusa, a 225,000 allegation of bribery. Now, will the EFCC prevail? March 15 to be a decider. At the Federal High Court, Akion Bake, CoreTV News, Lagos.
Well, we'll turn our attention to other stories now. Effective governance can be achieved when there is synergy between the executive and legislative arm of government. This is the conclusion of lawmakers at the end of a 2-day training for members of Osun State House of Assembly at Ijebu-Ijesha in Osun State. Our correspondent Rashid reports.
Members of the Osun State House of Assembly and former speakers are all gathered here for a two-day training 8 months after the inauguration of the 6th Assembly. The Speaker, Najim Salam, says the training is expected to equip the lawmakers for better performance.
The training program will touch on some carefully selected and vital topical issues, which at the end of the day will further enhance our effectiveness.
Participants are taking on various courses including budgeting, oversight functions management, bill processing, among others. Former Speaker during the 4th Assembly, Adijari Ballo, admonishes the members on the need to maintain decorum on the floor of the House, stressing that lawmakers are and must be seen as ambassadors of their constituencies.
The happenings in the National Assembly, you will see them holding their phones while the serious one, and this set of people allowed their proceedings to be terrified.
Some lawmakers agree that the training is timely, citing the benefits thereof.
We are not only talking about those things we have been able, but we have been able to look at what are the better ways of doing it, how can we improve on it. And I talked about the oversight function, for instance, which we know plays a very critical role.
The legislators are up and doing in oversight functioning. I believe it will not require the services of major anti-graft agency.
It is believed that the lawmakers will deploy the knowledge garnered at the training in resolving myriads of issues before it to ensure socio-political development of Osun State. Rashid, CoreTV News, Ijebu-Jesha.
And now part of government's responsibility is to create social amenities like schools, hospitals and roads, where they resist maintaining these facilities as important as providing them. Citizens, just as their leaders, have a role to play in ensuring that a maintenance culture is cultivated to ensure orderliness. In this package, our correspondent Victoria Solomon takes a look at people's disposition to public facilities. Her report now.
Most recently, the administration of Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode illuminated major roads with street lights, a move commended by most residents as a proactive security measure. Few weeks on, and just like many public facilities, some of the poles are damaged. Who should be held responsible? How well are Nigerians doing with cultivating a good maintenance culture?
It's both government and it's both the people. I think the government must get serious about when they provide amenities. Who maintains, who is in charge, who is checking, like roads are put on the engineers so that you can say, I'm in charge of this area.
Residents speak on what must be done to stem the tide of poor handling of social amenities.
People should be in charge of infrastructure so that before, maybe in 2 years you do this, in 3 years you do this. It's not as if it needs to break down before you do anything. People must know that in using things that have been provided, you use it with absolute sense of responsibility.
At least there have to be a kilometer to, like this street light, they can divide it into 2 or 3 parts, or the whole state can be divided into 4, giving the contract to a private company for the maintenance.
They say leaders as well as the led must do more in this regard.
In terms of maintenance, actually the government has played their own part. Now we, as individuals, we still have our own roles to play. But apart from that, the government also have they have to state up some like regulations.
If we can't keep our homes clean, definitely we can't keep around our surrounding wherever we find ourselves clean. So it starts from our home. I would say we are to be blamed. If we can manage whatever the government has provided for us, definitely there will be a forwardness.
To see more development in any society, existing public structures must be kept in good condition, especially since it takes a concerted effort to make things work.
And now the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission says power supply through the national grid, which peaked to 500 megawatts in past 2 weeks, has dropped below 2,800 megawatts due to vandalism. The acting chief executive officer of the commission, Anthony Aka, made this known while signing memorandum of understanding with the Consumer Protection Council. In a statement issued by the head Public Affairs Department of the NEC, Usman Abba Arabi, ACA expresses dissatisfaction and worries over the spate of vandalism in the power sector and joining the public and the CPC to collaborate with the distribution companies and security agencies to safeguard electrical installations. The statement adds that the NEC could soon complete the distribution companies publish their meter deployment scheduled, adding that meter rollout plan contained the performance agreement signed with government by utility firms. You're watching CoreTV Primetime News. After the break, European Council President Donald Tusk has warned illegal economic migrants against coming to Europe. We'll bring you details after this break. Stay with us.
Is it crazy or autocracy? Or what type of crazy is that? Except crazy.
News making the headlines.
Black Maria is to carry criminals, trading looters that are in government today.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
Slap you in the face. Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth. Whatever it is that will bring our military to disrepute, I said to hell.
On Core Digest,
I want to know why I should be believing them.
Every weekday, we'll bring all of these together and take them to the court of public opinion.
Everybody have the right in Nigeria.
Where you are the judge.
You can now watch CoreTV News live from anywhere in the world on our website www.coretvnews.com. Click on Live TV on our website and watch us live.
And welcome to CoreTV Primetime News.
To follow us on Twitter, click on Twitter icon on our website. On Facebook, click on the Facebook and YouTube to see all our previous news production. You can also watch us live on YouTube. Click CoreTV, leave a space, then News. CoreTV News, our 24-hour news station.
And now outside Nigeria, European Council President Donald Tusk has warned illegal economic migrants against coming to Europe during a new push to solve the EU migrant crisis. Tusk made this known while visiting Greece and Turkey on Thursday, saying illegal economic migrants were risking lives and money for nothing. The EU chief visited to discuss ways to reduce the flow of migrants traveling west and notes that more than 25,000 migrants have been left stranded in Greece by tightening of border controls to the north, raising fears of a humanitarian crisis. He also said EU member states must avoid taking unilateral action to deal with the migrant crisis.
To appeal to all potential illegal economic migrants, wherever you are from, do not come to Europe. Do not believe the smugglers.
And our France Finance Minister Michel Stappin says France could end UK border controls in Calais and allow migrants to cross the channel unchecked if the UK leaves the EU. Emmanuel Macron says his country could also limit access to the single market and try to tempt London's bankers to relocate. His comment comes as David Cameron and François Hollande prepared for security and migration talks in France. Meanwhile, pro-exit London Mayor Boris Johnson urged voters to ignore scaremongers. There are currently believed to be about 4,000 migrants amassed in Calais hoping to cross to the UK. And our New Zealanders begin final voting on whether to change their flag from a design which features the British Union Jack to one which features a native silver fan. The postal ballot will extend over the next 3 weeks from Thursday, with preliminary results to be announced March 24. Organizers say deciding the issue by popular vote represents a world first, and that other countries have changed flags by revolution or decree or legislation. Opinion polls indicates that nations of 4.7 million people will opt to stick with current flag, although proponents of the new design say they have momentum on their side and that more and more people are embracing the change. Well, let's take a look at some sports stories now.
aggressive, power style, and that's what he delivered.
And now the winner Waves handler Samson Unuanel has been shown the exit door owing to internal squabbling with technical director Henry Abiodun, who was also allowed to go. The management of the winner Waves approved the duo's sack following their unending wrangling, which has affected the team's performance this season. Unuanel was named handler of the Akure-based outfit in December 2015 following the exit of the coach Kennedy Boboye, who led the team to a 6th place finish on the Nigerian Professional Football League last season. It was gathered that since his arrival, he has had a strained relationship with Henry Abiodun on issues relating to tactical plan and team selection, which has not helped the team in the new league season. Assumption Star are placed 18th on the NPFL log with 1 point from 3 games, with their latest slide a 2-1 defeat to MFM FC on Wednesday at Agege Stadium. And now South African athlete Oscar Pistorius has been denied leave to appeal against his conviction for murdering his girlfriend, River Steenkamp. Pistorius will now be sentenced in April as the Constitutional Court has made a ruling, meaning Pistorius kills River Steenkamp on February 14, 2013 after firing 4 times through a locked toilet door. A manslaughter verdict was overturned in December and a murder verdict introduced in its place. Pistorius has, however, always maintained he believed he was shooting an intruder. And now Sydney Roosters have suspended scrum half Mitchell Pearce for 8 national rugby in league games after was filmed committing a lewd act with a dog. Pierce admitted he had a problem with alcohol and entered rehab after the footage emerged in January. The sanction was agreed upon by the Roosters and National Rugby League and implies Pierce can return against the Newcastle Knights in last week of April. Well, that's it with sport now. Just before we go on the CoreTV Prime Time News tonight, a recap of our major headlines now. Well, and that's been the show tonight on CoreTV Primetime News. Many thanks for watching. I am Franco Manape. On behalf of the entire news production, have a good night rest.